recorded session to those who missed us or gonna miss this session. We're also broadcasting live on our Facebook KW Shares group. So thank you, whoever is joining. I see dozen people keep joining the meeting. Make sure to mute yourself if you're on the app, and any given time you can drop your questions on either the chat or even Facebook Live. Just drop your questions if you have any, and we're going to share whatever we can. So once again, thank you for joining. Today, let me start and share my screen over here. We have a couple of guests. We honored to have Christine Schachter as well with the PWR board, the Pacific West Association of Realtors. She's the Government Affairs Director. So as I mentioned, this is broadcast live on our Facebook group as well. Thanks everybody for joining us. Stephanie, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Go for it.
To be successful, the first thing to do is to fall in love with your work.
Good job, Sister Mary Loretta. So I just wanted to share this one because, there's a lot of confusions and unknown those times. And we're actually going to share with you some great resource for you to better understand or understand predictions, if you may. And I just love this sentence because now more than ever, you really need to be in love and fall in love with what you do, because you are a great asset and resource for a lot of people. So please make sure to remember that, and don't give up, and don't lose hope, and don't lose anything. If anything, be more focused on what you can do now. That's what we, on a daily basis, we're teaching classes of how to engage and how to build a database and how to do more of those things. So thank you. Let's hear from our brokers. Richard, are you guys on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. So what do you want to, feel free to share with us whatever you want. And I also have some of the forms ready for you guys to present and go over. We know that almost every other day we have something new. So please, go for it, guys. Thank you.
Well, speaking of the forms, if you would put up the first form that the landlord notifies the tenant, that's it. Notice of tenant ability to pay rent during coronavirus pandemic. So this is a form. Two new forms came out a couple nights ago from CAR. This is one of them, and it's telling the tenant from the landlord that during the coronavirus pandemic that they can delay payment of rent. And a lot of people say, I know we're going to get a lot of questions. Well, why should the landlord even do this? It puts the onus on the tenant to immediately notify them whether they are going to delay the rent, and then it also makes way for the second form, which Richard, if you want to take the second form, go right ahead, because it talks about repayment of that rent.
Right. So the second form needs to be filled out by the tenant and coming up with a solution between the landlord and the tenant on how they're going to repay the missed rent. And they also have to show proof that they have lost their job. I think it's a great form to get those tenants that are just trying to take advantage of the situation to truly understand they're not going to just walk away from rent. They have to find a way to pay back that money, whether it be with the federal grants or unemployment, whatever it is that they're going to work on over the next couple months till they go back to work full time. I think both these forms are a great idea. The first form really gives the landlord, makes it sound like they have a heart, because at this point, tenants are not very happy having to make that rent payment. But the second form is really a true contract between landlord and tenant, and I think it's a great form to use if somebody gets behind.
Right, and it also gives a repayment plan. Here it is. You're going to tell me that you're going to repay this in X amount of time, and how you're going to repay it, and whatnot. And I want to a lot of people have a misconception that I would like to clear up, in that yes, there is a moratorium on evictions, but it's only in evictions for non-payment of rent. If a tenant violates any other part of the lease, that's still valid to evict that tenant. Now, of course, courts are closed right now, so it would be a little hard, but it's strictly, the moratorium is strictly for non-payment of rent. So you have a tenant who is has 15 people in the house, or whatever the reason is. If it's a violation of the lease, then that is still a valid reason to evict that tenant. So it doesn't stop all evictions.
And just
one more thing, Meny, about these forms. Sure. They are not customized on the bottom to each of the agents or the offices. So you can, as an agent, offer to send a copy of this to a landlord client for them to use, and you're not going to be made a part of that issue because you don't have your name and et cetera on the very bottom of the form. The apartment association does not have these forms available yet, so our typical tenants in the Long Beach area anyway have no access to these forms without having a realtor help them out. So it's a great way for agents to contact their landlord clients.
Yeah, and then also make sure that reach out to your broker, right? Just double check, or if you are dealing with someone who's a landlord and is asking you what to do, don't give any advice or legal advice that you're not sure before consulting, because it's very confusing. And even if you have right now ground, let's say as a landlord or what have you, right, to evict someone because of justifiable reason, still double check what's the right way to do it due to the circumstances, because those are not normal times.
Right. I see Allison had a question as what's the name of the form. I'll give it the initials because they're really long names. It's NTAP for the notice for the tenants about the payment. And then the second form is RPD. You guys, I know with Calabasas and I believe with Long Beach, you guys should have gotten an email last night from each of us, and with these forms attached and the names of the forms and all that. And there is a CAR Zoom meeting, 3:00 Thursday on the 9th. There's a link to sign up for that. If you've never participated in a CAR legal webinar, please do. There's a ton of wealth, and most of them are conducted by Neil Kalin, who is one of the attorneys for CAR. So it's a great deal of information on they're going to teach on how to use these forms and what landlords and tenants can and can't do. Also included in the email last night was a fact sheet about LA City, about the eviction moratorium. And just to point out, LA City allows for 12 months to repay that back rent. 12 months. So that's all I had.
So first of all, yes, an email was sent last night to the Calabasas office, West Side office, and Long Beach Coastal office with all the links in those forms. If you didn't get it, it's there. Check your spam or your promotions tab if you have a Gmail or KW email, but it's there. And a couple of questions. This is, by the way, the eviction protection fact sheet that you mentioned that was sent as well. A couple of questions is, number one, are those forms, the NTAP or the RPD, are those mandatory? How do you know when to use them?
No, I don't think they're mandatory. I think if a landlord has a tenant who is saying that they can't pay their rent, they should be using these forms. I mean, they're not mandatory. For one thing, the brokerages have nothing to do, as Richard said, the brokerages are not a party to these agreements. So it's just I believe CAR made these to make it helpful to our agents that they can service their clients, be it tenant or landlord, making them available to them. We basically have nothing to do with these forms. Richard, do you disagree?
I know, I agree completely. And like even for my personal rentals, I'm not going to hand out the NTAP until I hear something about them not being able to pay rent. I don't want to put that into their minds. But if one of them does say they can't pay rent, then I'll pull out the RPD and work with them on an agreement, because this is a contract addendum to the listing or to the rental contract. So I will use that form to get it all in writing.
Right. And I actually want to get on the line, Christine. Christine, are you on the line with us?
I'm here. Can you hear and see me?
We can see your slide, and I'm going to get you up in a second. Christine Schachter, the Government Affairs Director at the PWR Board, the Pacific West Association of Realtors. Thank you for joining us today as well. And we can see you on the screen as well right now. How are you doing?
Good. And you guys, I know it's changing day by day.
Yeah. What can you share with us, Christine? And thanks again for making yourself available.
Yeah, we have a lot to go through. Certainly that I was on a call yesterday with California GADs, meaning Government Affairs Directors from other associations throughout the state. San Jose last night, the city was debating whether to allow for rent suspension, so tenants wouldn't have to pay rent for the next 3 months. Now that's an extreme and probably not likely to pass, but certainly we're in nebulous times relative to the landlord-tenant relationship. What I will go ahead and do is run down some of the resources, get into a little bit more of the executive orders, and answer some of these questions you may have. As you well know, CAR has set up a dedicated microsite, so that is available to all realtors. You may want to use that as it's a wealth of resources. There was mention of webinars you can go on. There's live ones that you can participate in all week, ones that are already recorded that you can go back and review. They walk you through a lot of the forms as noted. There's 2 additional forms that we issued, but a total of 6 as within the last week. So the first being Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment, CAR Form CVA. Again, Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment. Notice of Unforeseen Coronavirus Circumstances, that's CAR Form NUCC, CAR Form NUCC, the Notice of Unforeseen Coronavirus Circumstances. The Listing Agreement Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment, CAR Form RLA-CAA, Listing Agreement Coronavirus Addendum or Amendment. And then the Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration, CAR Form PEAD. Again, that's the Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration, CAR Form PEAD. And that's important because throughout the California state, we are now following under Executive Order N3320. And in accordance with federal guidelines, we are considered real estate essential service. Now that varies based on county and city, but currently in Long Beach, we're in accordance with LA County, and that allows us to not hold open houses, but we can visit the property practicing CDC guidelines. As you all know, the federal government is requiring or advising people to use masks, gloves, etc. City of LA, effective this Friday, is requiring people to use masks when out in public. So these are things to keep in mind. That property advisory is really important. So keep in mind the best practices and guidelines available at CAR. Those 2 documents, additional ones that you mentioned, the Notice to Tenant of Ability to Pay Rent During Coronavirus Pandemic, again, CAR form NTAP, notice to tenant of ability to pay rent during coronavirus pandemic. And that's an informational notice that a landlord can send to a tenant for the purpose of starting a dialogue with them regarding the payment of rent during the coronavirus pandemic. So basically saying, we understand that there are circumstances, wanted to let you know, but hopefully you are able to pay, and this is the contract relative or to an addendum, essentially. The other one is the coronavirus rent payment delay and repayment agreement, as Richard mentioned, and Rich. Coronavirus rent payment delay and repayment agreement. It is an addendum to that residential lease or rental agreement that, when agreed and signed by the landlord and tenant, documents the tenant's claim that the tenant is unable to pay rent and the reason for the inability, proof of the inability to pay, the amount of rent not being paid, and a plan to pay it in the future. And as was noted, based on California's state executive order issued by the governor on March 27th, which lasts through May 31st, 2020 of this year. And the order prohibits landlords from evicting tenants for non-payment of rent and prohibits enforcement of evictions by law enforcement or courts. Requires tenants to declare in writing no more than 7 days after the rent comes due that the tenant cannot pay all or part of their rent due to COVID-19. The tenant is required to retain documentation, but not required to submit it to the landlord in advance. The tenant remains obligated to pay in full in a timely manner and could still face eviction after the enforcement moratorium is.
Oh, Christine, hold on. I think we lost you. Christine, I think your Wi-Fi connection is not wasn't stable, so we cannot hear you. Rich, can you hear Christine or on my end?
No, I think we lost her.
Oh, okay, let's give a minute to come back. That's fine. Rich, do you mind to, until we're going to have her back, just go over, I just want to make sure that people also remember this form, the PEAD. She did mention that, the Coronavirus Property Entry Advisory and Declaration.
Right. And this form is used anytime somebody goes into a listing for a showing. I have to have the caveat that in Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, Mayor Garcetti has put the kibosh on all in-person showings on listings, and obviously open houses. But anywhere else, if somebody is going to go into a property, they need to sign this. It gives the details about the virus and what precautions that you should take while you're doing it. We all should be following the CAR guidelines that they have put together as far as in-person showings. That's it. Every person, I know that I've gotten this from a lot of agents, and it's like, well, they should make it for, multiple properties, multiple people. It's like, it's something, and it's per property. You may have 2 on a property, you may have 50 on a property. It's every person, including yourself. If you're going in that residence, you should be signing it as the agent. So just make sure that that is included. So I've been asked, is it mandatory? It's mandatory if you step foot in the house. If nobody steps foot in the house, then you don't need this. You don't need it.
Am I back on? I'm sorry about that.
There she is. Yep.
Yeah, there you are.
Okay, well, let's hope this works. Did you? Where did you lose me at?
I'm not sure. Rich, what was the last document you referred to? There was, I think, the fifth document.
Yeah, yes, that's correct. It was the last of the documents, I believe.
Okay, and by the way, Rich, if you don't mind to drop maybe a a list of all the acronyms on the chat over here, and I'm gonna copy and paste it to the Facebook Live so you guys can have all those shortcuts in your CR form. Okay, we lost Christine again. Until she's gonna come back or not, I'm not sure. Let's just go back with the meeting. Let's continue with the meeting. Thanks again. Holly and Stephanie, are you on the line?
Yeah, Stephanie, why don't you go first?
Thanks, Hallie.
Okay.
Good morning and happy Passover,
Thank you.
everybody.
What do you have for us?
So my segment is on building rapport. Now, as salespeople, right, we all know that building rapport is extremely important. That's something that we need to do. However, right now we really need to be sensitive to it. And remember, before I mentioned this on my 8 o'clock call this morning, remember when you're getting ready to call people, right? It has to start with you. Don't create or project the story, which is your story, okay? So not everyone is fearful or frozen, excuse me, by what's going on. So don't have the objection be us. Does that make sense? So we just want to make sure that we're in our good spot before we go and have that conversation. So rapport, right, is when you feel comfortable. It's a comfort that you feel between two people, okay? So people like each other, have a tendency to like each other, right? So that similar behaviors create familiar expectations. So with that said, because judging happens automatically, whether we like it or not. So we're always assessing behavior. So it's really important because most of us are doing Zoom calls and we're still face-to-face virtually, right? So it's important to make sure that our body language is congruent, one, with what we're saying and mirroring and matching who we're speaking with. So keep in mind behaviors that we need to look at over, even over the phone and virtually are, rate of speech, your volume, your tone, mimicking emotions, right? Because opposites repel each other. So angry people hate happy people, okay? So remember, building rapport too just happens in the first, let's say 15 to 30 seconds, right? So that's why it's super important to understand who you're speaking with. So if they're angry, just be angry with them just for a little bit, right? And then they kind of settle down and then you can go on. But remember, people, one of those sayings all the time, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, right? Mm. So you always have to have your energy and how you show up is a choice. And then the language creates that reality. Okay, so always keep in mind too, and you can get this in a very short period of time, is who you are speaking to. Are they analytical? Are they expressive? Are they driver? Because one of the things that it's very important for us in building that rapport, it's important to be flexible in who we are, right? We can't just show up being completely us, right? So we have to be mirroring who they are until that rapport is built, and then we can go about our business. But remember, you have to be flexible in who you are in the ability to build that rapport. So the goal is relationships, and don't forget you are the expert, right? So like I said, it's the rate of speech, your tonality, the volume, the emotions, and present yourself with confidence. And more important than ever, like we've talked about before, is empathy. Just be as empathetic as possible as you can. So with that said, I think that's just my little snippet right there regarding building rapport.
Great. Do you want to share the 66-day challenge?
Me?
So we sent out this session. We actually shared this on Facebook a couple of days ago. If you're going to go to the KW shares, go to the menu on the left. You're going to see files. By the way, if you're going to go to the shares group and you're going to click on the left menu on videos, you can see all the recordings of the meetings and classes or what have you. But if you're going to go to files, you're going to find this PDF form, the 66-day challenge. This is the most recent revised form that shows you step by step. If you're going to go by 66 days, of course you can double triple on the days and get it done in maybe like in 1 week. It's really going to show you how to master command, and this system is incredible. And this is the best time right now, talking about virtual business. This is the best platform to do it. So just want to share that with you. Holly, you're up next. Stephanie, thank you so much.
Meny, where do we find this, the 60-day challenge? Will it be on the WhatsApp or will it email?
I just mentioned, so I'm going to send to you later on. Holly, are you up?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Hey, this is Hallie from Keller Williams Coastal Properties over here. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some content that I'm seeing very underutilized, particularly here in the city of Long Beach. I did a little bit of research, and Calabasas is doing a similar thing, as well as the city of Los Angeles. So hopefully I can get these details for you guys as well. So Meny, if you want to show the slide, please.
Go for it.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Okay, so I know we're all calling our SOI and all of our clients right now, and I think it's important that when we're talking that we're giving them really up-to-date information. So this is one thing I just wanted to share with you guys, just in case you don't know. Mayor Robert Garcia here in the city of Long Beach is doing lives 3 days a week that include COVID-19 dates and updates, really important city information. That's happening again, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. So you're going to find this on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. But he announced a couple things on Monday that I really haven't heard any people utilizing and or sharing on their social media, and I think it's a lost opportunity for us here. So, Meny, if you can go to the next slide. So the really important thing that I'm very proud of our city for doing is they've created now the Long Beach Walk-Up Clinic. Now that clinic is on the corner of PCH and Orange here at the Long Beach City College campus. It's actually right outside. It opened on April 6th. But this is not just for COVID necessarily. They're also taking all sorts of, kind of walk-up inpatient type cases that people would normally see in the emergency room. So they're doing minor, doctor things, prescription refills, etc. But the really important thing that I think we need to communicate to everyone is that this is the first drive-up, drive-through testing site here in Long Beach for COVID-19. Now, the only thing is you can't just drive up and drive through like, say, a McDonald's or a Burger King. You actually do need to go onto their website and to make an appointment so they can make sure that they have a doctor available to do the pre-screening. So, make sure you're sharing this with your clients and folks that you're talking with, because I think this is a game changer right now for all of those scared, even to just get tested or go into the doctor or emergency room to possibly be exposed, make sure they know about this. So it's open daily from 10 a.m. to 6. So next slide. Okay, face coverings. So today I have my handy dandy survivor buff on, which I like to wear, yeah. So let's talk about face coverings. So the CDC spoke, I'm sure you guys heard of, everyone's been talking about it, about wearing face coverings out in public. So it's important that we're not doing like the top picture. Don't use a shoe or lettuce, and use some obviously inappropriate cotton face coverings. So another thing Mayor Garcia brought up on Monday was that the city, in collaboration with the Long Beach Post, has actually created an e-commerce page for those members here in the community who are making homemade face coverings, and join them with people who want to purchase them. So if you see that little website, and I'm sure I can post that down at the bottom, if you guys just search longbeachpost.org, I believe, or .com, I can't remember, .com, it's on that slide. if you guys go to that page, you can actually see dozens and dozens of options on there. Many of them, like the one that you see on the screen that says Long Beach versus COVID-19, those businesses are actually taking their proceeds and donating them for supplies and food and things for the hospitals. So the shop at lbpost.com, you guys can go and find your own face coverings and masks. So just make sure, when you're calling your clients and things that you're getting this updated information to them. I talked with a realtor that's doing their calls immediately after he is going live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at about 3:30 and are seeing huge, wonderful results with that in connection, because not everyone's available during that time. So that's it.
Good job. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Holly, for sharing that. And Holly, if you don't mind, just type in those links to the social media resources for the mayor and other stuff over here, and I'm gonna share that on on the Facebook Live as well. I also, Julie, you asked about the the 66 days. I just dropped the link on both platforms, the Facebook Live and the Blue Jeans over here. So just click on it. It's going to take you right to the PDF. You can save it. Now, here's what I want to share with you, and this is very interesting statistics. Holly, can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So and you can all free after this meeting to go and explore more about what I'm going to share with you. So I'm going to click on the link, and it's going to take us to the actual website, and it is healthdata.org. Just to make sure, Holly, can you see the URL over here? Thumbs up if you can see the URL. Okay, thank you. Healthdata.org, and I'm going to go over here to COVID-19 projections. I'm going to click on it, and not to overwhelm you, I'm going to go instead of over here, I'm going to click on I'm going to go down to California, because that's the state that we live in, and I'm just going to explain to you what I'm looking at. Now, those are projections, as it says over here, and this is all statistics, and things change by the day. Things change by the day. So what am I looking at? All right. Now, this is a mix of, good news, bad news, if you may, but this is the reality that we live in, and we need to know, what's important, and we need to know how it's going to affect us, and we need to know what steps we should take next. So what are we looking at? Not to make it too complicated. Currently in California, okay, from the drop menu over here, right now there are just under 5,000 beds needed overall. Out of those, almost 800 are ICU. Those are people with a more critical condition. And out of those, 672, so the majority, need the ventilators, right? That's where the virus, really hits hard, and it affects the lungs. And as you can see over here, look how many beds available, and look how much shortage, which is none, we have in California. Okay, now just to jump for a second to show you in comparison to, for example, New York, look over here, the numbers, and look over here, the bed shortage that they have. Okay, almost 10,000, over 5,000 for those who are critically ill and need that. Those beds, and they're way over capacity. So why am I showing you this? Okay, I'm going to scroll down, and this is what I want to share. And once again, this is kind of bitter, but that's the reality, and you need to understand this. Okay, from also economical point of view. So the projection says that in April 15th, mid-April, that's where the biggest impact is going to take place, mortality-wise, and overall the impact of the disease. And then, as you can see, there is a massive decline over here. Now, I'm not going to go to other states. By the way, it shows you also like different countries, so you can do it afterwards. But stay with me for a second over here. Pay attention that we're looking into mid-May, where they're projecting that this whole thing is gonna stop. Now, stop, it doesn't mean go away. Okay. Now that's assuming that all of us right now are following the rules. What rules? The rules that they're sharing with us on a daily basis. Wash your hands. Cover your face. I have in my pocket every time I go outside to get coffee or food and anything, I just put it on, and this is the new normal, right? Professionally wise, make sure that you protect yourself. It's not about just the hunt for the showing or what you can or cannot do. It's not even about that. It's about to protect yourself and protect the public, right? And we don't want to be in that scale, the statistics that we're one of the people that are being affected. Now, what does it mean? It means that, once again, statistically wise, that April is going to be a rough month, and it means that May most likely is also going to be a rough month. But guess what? There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I speak to a lot of successful individuals, and I measure success not just by the income of the person, by the consistency, how long they've been doing this successfully. And there's a lot of good insight. And Doug, are you on the call with us? Doug Puetz?
Yes.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
Good.
Good. So, we had a few discussion, and I love your input, your mindset. You've been doing this for a long time, and you've been through a lot of different cycles in the market. Share some insight with us, if you may.
Yeah, what I was talking to you about earlier today was basically like in the 94 earthquake and the fires recently, and then the collapse of the loan market, and then actually in the late 80s we had a collapse of the loan market also. We all go through these cycles, and one thing that has been consistent that I've noticed during this whole thing is after a few months, the buyers and sellers both forget. They have a very, very short memory. And every time we go through this cycle and I go, I'm all worried during the cycle, like, oh my gosh, I haven't sold a house in 60 days. They pulled all my recordings, or there's always something major going on. That one thing I noticed, it always comes back. The buyers and sellers always forget. And then I always look back and say, God, when I had all this extra time, why didn't I work on my database? Why didn't I take time off? Why did I spend time worrying about something that was going to change anyways? And I should take advantage of this time, either, be with my family, organize my database, get ready on all the mail outs that we're going to be mailing out in a month or so. Just have everything ready so when we hit the ground, we're hitting the ground running. All my listings are all on hold. But I'm going to have all the staging ready in about 30 days, and I'm going to have all the flyers done, and I'm going to have all the door knocking done. I'm going to have everything ready, so when whatever happens, I'm going to go by the rules and do whatever the office tells me and the state tells me to do. But as soon as they say you can prospect with a mask on and gloves on, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be ready. But I'm going to take advantage of the time that we're down, and instead of being worried, be productive.
Beautiful. And if you understand the message, basically, Doug, thank you for giving all of us the magic pill. That was the magic pill, or in KW we call this the Kool-Aid, whatever you want to call this. But this is it. This is the real stuff. Stay focused, stay on top of your game. Double up on the actions right now to, pretty much build the foundations. And I love that. And I want people to hear it more and more because, this will end at one point, right? Doug, anything else you want to add? That was powerful.
No, I appreciate the new forms and getting that information. That's a good prospecting tool.
Yeah. Thanks, Doug. Appreciate the wisdom. Doug, thumbs up if you can see my screen again, just to make sure I'm on it. Okay, thank you. So, by the way, what Doug mentioned, he actually touched what we have. I just want to promote that for a second. while other companies are shutting down their services, our KW Concierge is still up and running. Our KW Concierge is still up and running. So take advantage of what they have. This is just like a one, sample marketing piece that they're showing right now. I'm not sure if I'm showing the right screen. Give me a second.
You are not, no.
That's what I thought. Hold on. How about now?
Yeah.
Can you see this right now? Can you see my the concierge fly right now? Rich, can you see my concierge fly right now? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. So just to repeat what I said, you probably saw the one roster online for a second. That's fine. Our concierge program is still up and running, full force. Doug Puetz right now, 30 years, top producer, owns multiple offices himself. He knows what he's talking about from experience and from wisdom. He said, hey, I'm gonna prepare my properties, stage them, do whatever I need to do. Take advantage of those services. Okay, we have those services, and what they're offering, by the way, now is to do a virtual home preparation, consultation, whatever they need to do, and also they're offering, which is mind blowing to me, they're offering to defer payments for the sellers. So a seller got a listing with you, and you offer them to utilize the concierge for whatever reason, whatever need. Concierge pay everything up front, nothing out of pocket to the seller. When they close the deal, only then they pay whatever they need to pay, right? If it was staging or fix the roof or plumbing or whatever, just name it. Even the moving expenses, right? And now the concierge even offering payment plan for the seller. When they close, they don't have to pay everything right away. They can do payments, unheard of. Okay, so if you're not sure, send me a text later on. I'm going to share some more information with you and what's the best way to engage them. I'm going to help you out directly as well to make sure that they're available for you. In addition, and good luck to me with my accent to read this over here right now. But this is another service that they're offering, and please pay attention to this. And I'm going to make sure to e-blast this afterwards, because this is extremely important. And guys, talking about what kind of service and value you can add, right? And you can also manipulate how they do it. I'm going to explain to you in a second. COVID-19 decontamination program powered by KW Concierge. Thanks, Rich, for the thumbs up. We are pleased to introduce our COVID-19 decontamination program, which is now available via our Concierge program. This is an opportunity for you to engage the community and your clients and to support them in that, such times. What is it? Vapor aerial decontamination. It's hospital grade disinfectant, atomized for maximum coverage and penetration. That sounds like Dr. Ruth sentence over here. Interior and exterior professional cleaning for all surfaces and building systems, including air ducts. For households with known exposure to COVID-19, custom solutions, or maybe not even exposed, right? It can be commercial, can be residential. It means what those guys are doing, they do like a very special hospital grade level cleaning deeply into the house. Okay, it can be to houses that maybe, rentals, short-term vacation homes, commercial properties, whatever it might be. And what they're offering is a 5% commission paid to the agent from the cost, which normally starts around $9.95 or whatever the cost might be, depends on the property size and whatever it is. This is incredibly valuable. Once again, shoot me a text or email, whatever you need to get more information about that. But that's extremely valuable. And I just shout out to our KW Concierge service for doing so many things for the consumer out there, and also giving you guys access. Okay. I'm glad that I'm usually with the Dr. Ruth comment. this is just a flyer. We have those marketing pieces available. Once again, we're going to share everything with you via email afterwards. The concierge available only for our, few of the 4 living offices. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, reach out to me afterwards. Escrow, are you on the line? Myra, Elia?
Line. Can you hear me?
How's it going? Yes, I can hear you. I cannot
Hold
see
on.
you. Dan. Not sure if you're.
Can you see? Oh, there you are. Can you see me now?
I can see you. I can see the paper clips. I can see the stickers. I can see the whole thing. Yes, perfect.
Okay. How are you
So,
guys?
good. And thank you for joining us. First of all, shout out to all the our S corporations in the Calabasas office, Westside office, Language office, any other offices out there. Those girls and guys are out there, day by day. It seems to be essential, but essential or not essential, a lot of escrows don't go to the office and don't do things like you do. So thank you for doing this.
So really quick, I just wanted to remind you guys, some of the things that we keep seeing right now throughout the whole process that we're actually living. People keep asking about wire information. Yes, we can still wire. We can wire your commissions. We can wire whatever it is, as long as you guys provide us some of the information. Right now, the banks are cracking down on a lot of things. So what they keep asking for us is they want the name of the account. They want the address. So let's say, for example, Parkway Escrow. On our account, it's our address here in Calabasas. So they want to see that. Obviously, along with our account number, ABA number, and all that information. They want to see all of that stuff. And they want the name of our bank, the name and the address of our bank. So that's one of the big things that they're really asking for, and they're cracking down on. That's one of the big things we see. Another big thing that we keep getting asked for are special recordings. I know that a lot of things are being delayed, and we're going as quick as we can along working with the banks. But unfortunately, we still don't have any special recordings. So if you fund one day, you have to record the following day. Another thing that we kind of see too is people ask about notaries. We do have a couple notaries. More than anything, we have 2 notaries that work with us. Super on top of their thing. They, very precautious, go out with masks and everything else. So they're going ahead and doing all of that stuff as well. So we do have that. As always, we're here to help you guys. Obviously, all the offices, and we're actually helping other agents as well in regards to any escrow need that is needed. So just wanted to make sure you guys are all okay and everything is needed, and we're here to help you guys in any way that we can. So, the office, all the offices, and everybody else in the actual industry as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Myra. And once again, thank you for, all the hard work and dedication. And the reason I want to bring escrow on the line, Myra Elia, is because a lot of you have the same questions and same concerns, and I think it was valuable just to understand what mostly is being effectively addressed by most agents or clients. And another note is, please pay attention to wire fraud. Now more than ever,
Yes.
we're going to run into those situations. So just please be aware and tell your clients. Before, if you get any email whatsoever, before you do anything, send it to me, show it to me. I want to make sure it's the one that was sent by escrow, and you're going to call the escrow and say, hey, did you send this email? And this is the numbers and everything. And just confirm it, double, triple check it today more than ever before.
Correct. So.
Great, Myra, thank you so much.
Thank
Elia.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, so this is a sharing platform at KW Shares. Make sure to drop your coming soon, your new listings, your buyer needs, whatever you have on this group. Everything is all information is valuable, and it helps us right now to engage as much as possible. Once again, this group is just under 1,000 members, and it keeps growing. So the more and more, we can help one another. Mostly right now, it's valuable. So please share your inventory over here. You all got this class schedule If you didn't, shoot me an email. I'm going to send you a link to this class schedule. But we have a full one. Tomorrow we have a fun live session with the chef Jeanette. She is doing she's a gluten freak, I call her, chef, and she's doing a special for Passover. Cool dishes, and she's going to show like step by step from her home kitchen. So a lot of fun stuff that we do besides the professional part, and we have a lot of good classes coming up. So just please try to stay on top of what we do and engage. There's a lot of good things out there as well, I know. So pick and choose whatever is valuable to you the most. Bold pivot. This is once again like unheard of. This is the first I guess unlimited amount of bold participants, and they dropped the price to $99 only. This is the link. You're all supposed to get the link. If you didn't send it to me, shoot me a text. I'll share it again. I did share it yesterday on this group. I highly recommend. It's going to start on May 5th. So forget about what you had before, the dates and times. It's only May. This is going to start on May 5th. It's going to be twice a week, Tuesday and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. You're going to get emails with Eastern time or whatever, or Central time. So it's 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. And then also what you're getting is twice a week, Wednesdays and Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time, Coach's Corner. That's incredible. Now, I don't know for a fact, not confirmed, but I heard that, first of all, it's going to be a virus of people and coaches on this group. So that's going to be extremely valuable. I heard that maybe even Gary Keller is going to jump to one of one session, a couple of sessions. So once again, I just recommend to jump on it. You heard Doug Puetz earlier today, top producer for 30 years, very successfully. This is the time right now to invest in yourself and do the 101, the basic stuff. So there's nothing like what this program is offering to you, or any other program as well. This is just the promotion to my session tomorrow with the chef. By the way, no joke, but I did, all joke aside, right? I did email, I'll text Dr. Ruth, just for you to know. I didn't hear back from her yet, but we have a cool session at the end of the month. So I'm hoping to get for couples. So I'm hoping to get Ruth or whoever is going to join us to this fun session.
Meny, I texted Dr. Phil too, just by the way. Hopefully we can get one of the doctors.
Yes, I love Dr. Phil. Okay, and if you know any other doctors, that's good too. You can definitely let us know. Before I'm going to jump to Eli to promote his session, Christine, do we still have you on the line?
Yeah, you should have me here.
Yeah,
you hear and see me?
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you. So quickly, just a quick question that we had earlier. The question was, not sure if you can answer that, but let me see. There it is. It looks like the governor doesn't want landlords to be able to tell who really needs the rent relief and who just doesn't feel like paying the rent. Can you address some of that to whatever, anything you can?
Yeah, so the governor's order, of course, came down, and that was through May 31st. Local jurisdictions, as noted, have implemented ones that go further and for longer periods of time. Now, the tenant must pay, so it's not as though they are just free and clear of paying the rent. They do have to provide proof. They don't need to provide 7 days after the inability to pay. They need to notify the landlord. They don't need to provide documentation at that time, but they still need to have it for future times. Certainly because you're going to have cases where if you're seeking forbearance on a mortgage, especially single family homes, if it's FDA or government backed, that's going to need to be there. So it's a matter of ultimately they're going to have to provide that. And that's why CAR came out with these forms in order to provide a conversation starter and contract of repayment options and how to go about that, because they're not relieved of that. But certainly they need to provide documentation down the line.
Got it. Okay.
And just a couple other items quickly too. I know you talked about investing yourself. NAR's relaunched Right Tools Right Now initiative. That was something NAR put out at the economic downturn when we went through the housing crisis. One would say we're still in it, but that is NAR's Right Tools Right Now initiative. Webinars, education courses, market reports, digital tools for transactions and marketing. And please know that they also offer health insurance options too, or telemedicine options, which a lot of realtors sometimes, because of the scenario of being self-employed, that's something that's available. Pandemic unemployment assistance is what independent contractors, small businesses are going to turn to. Again, that was part of the federal government relief package, pandemic unemployment assistance, and you can get that through the California Economic Development or Employment Department, EDD, California EDD.
Right. Yeah. Christine, thank you so much. That was very valuable, and I appreciate you joining the call. We might have you in another call at one point, so we can have more in-depth session with you. So stay healthy. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, and now let's jump to Eli Shaw. Eli is with the United Home Group out of the KW West Side office. Eli, are you on the line?
Yes. Hi, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing? All right, I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me on today. This meeting's been really, really wonderful, by the way. I've been on for as long as possible, and this information is really great. So thank you for putting this together, and thank you for having me. For those of you who don't know who I am or haven't seen me before, I am the regional director with United Home Group, which is an expansion team inside Keller Williams. I myself am a veteran agent, about 11 years now, Keller Williams for the vast majority of that. I'm also a professional coach. I work with people in business and personal development. Next Wednesday, the 15th of April, I'm going to be teaching a 1-hour class for the Calabasas office and any others who are able to join in on that training about anxiety. Yeah, so it's about anxiety disintegration. Part of what I do is I'm a master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming. What that simply means is that I help people work with your subconscious and conscious mind simultaneously so that you can achieve really significant results with very, very little time and effort going in when you're able to work with both at the same time. Anxiety is something that everyone's been dealing with a lot over the last few weeks with unknowns about the future, which is basically what all of anxiety is about, imagining a future where things could go wrong. So I'm going to help you guys learn about how to get your mind focused on everything that could go right. Because when you're able to focus appropriately on the future and focus on what you want, that's when anxiety simply just disappears, dissolves, completely goes away. And there's a very simple technique that I'm going to be teaching that you'll be able to use over and over again to completely reprogram your mind so that you simply avoid anxiety and focus on the positive future that you actually want. And that's actually the better way to achieve it. It creates a lot less stress, and it creates momentum towards the outcome you actually want in your life. So that's going to be a 1-hour training coming up next Wednesday at 11 a.m. I'm looking forward to having all of you there, and I'm going to teach this exercise for you.
Awesome, Eli. Thank you so much for sharing. And we are going to broadcast this live on this platform as well. So you're going to see it on the calendar and the invite the morning of. So Eli, thanks for joining, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you. I'm going to see more of you soon. So we have to end, with some smile and some laugh. So those are most recent real images that were captured the streets of wherever in the world. Pets are not immune as well, so people are being very, very creative. A scuba diver, that's kind of cool, very, very smart as well. This guy for sure not going to get anything, maybe just decompression issues. This guy doesn't look so happy, but oh well. The bottom left, I definitely do not recommend to do that for various reasons. She did survive though, so we're happy about that, and that's it. Yeah. So yeah, this is also very interesting as well, but it can definitely come handy. With that, guys, I want to say thank you to everybody. Keep smiling. Keep at it. Keep focusing on what's right. We're here to give you as much value as possible. I do want to ask you one thing, because between all of our staff in our offices, and just shout out to the staff. Staff is amazing. They're out there. They're here for you. Pretty much 27, and day by day, they're reaching out and calling and checking up on you guys. If you know of someone that in our group of agents that she's going through something, he has something, and they didn't share, and we're not certain or whatever, let us know. Okay, this is not the time to go hush hush if you have any issue whatsoever. This is the time that we need to be here for one another. And it goes also to the community. If there's anything, like I mentioned last week, last team meeting, I'm part of the Nest group in my area where I live, and there was a call for help, actually a message, help, help, and there was like elderly couple asked for food, not for money, not for anything else, just for food. So be aware of what's out there and share with us if there's anything we can do to help. That's what we're here for today, more than any time else. So thanks everybody. Stay engaged, be well, be safe, stay focused, be on the phones, call people, keep working. In a couple of weeks, couple of months, it's going to go back to the new normal. So love you all. Thank you, and be well. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.